Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Karina Kaplan. I am a PhD in microbiology with a focus in gut microbiome, probiotics, and prebiotics. And this is my first live video on my page. And I hope you will have time to tune in and like the video and maybe comment and say hi and tell me where you're watching us from. So this is a series that I'm starting, the series of gut health chat. And our first guest is Julia Jerrard. We will be talking with her about essential oils and how they can help us with in our gut health. So thank you so much to this tuning in live. Can you please tell us just a few words about yourself and how did you end up using essential oils in your everyday life?
Hi everyone, Karina, thank you so much for inviting me. Yes, just a few words about myself. My name is Julia Jerrard. I'm a mother of two children. I'm a certified essential oils coach and I am studying to complete master's in nutritional therapy. How did essential oils come into my life? That was through my mother's illness. I did use them before on a recreational basis, so to speak, but because of what my mom went through, I started looking into them a lot more seriously, and that's what brought me into studying them in detail. So in two words, this is the story.
Thank you, Yulia. Can you please tell us a few words about, in general, what the essential oils are for those who have never ever used those in their lives?
Mhm. So that is interesting though, because we all use essential oils whether we know it or not on a daily basis. That's what you get when you're trying to peel an orange or a mandarin, tangerine, or when you are picking up, for instance, when you walk along the lavender fields, if you were that lucky in your life and you got to see that, or if you tear a peppermint leaf and putting it in a cup of tea. The components, the aromatic components that you smell during the process, those are essential oils. And I actually have a little diagram here. I'm not sure if you would be able to see that, but if you could see the photo, this is a peppermint leaf and magnified under the microscope. And what you see, those little sacs, those are actually essential oils. And those are part of the immune system of the plant. That is what the plant uses to protect itself from all the viruses and bacteria that nature attacks it with. So the beauty is that we are very similar in terms of the cell structure, and when we apply essential oil on ourselves, this is how it works. It just targets what it needs to work on. It's a wide spectrum of application. We cannot just the plant cannot take a pill from a headache and then another pill for stomach ache.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's very interesting. I didn't realize that essential oils actually play the same function as maybe immune cells and maybe some other molecules in our body that play protective function. So it's basically an immune system for the plant, right?
Absolutely.
So how can we actually the protective compounds from this plant and apply them to our health and in particular to the gut health?
Mm-hmm. Well, in general, there are three ways of using essential oils, and the most common way is the local application, where we put that. This is probably the most popular application of essential oil. We have to always be careful in terms of the dilution. We have to know the ratio and always have to dilute or check for the personal, like if there are any reactions, check before you apply. For instance, the good place to check is on where here, you know, where the and the second way is diffusion. That's what we use. We use the ultrasonic diffuser. This is a cold diffusion, so the oil actually is not warmed up, so the therapeutic qualities are staying intact. The problem with if you, for instance, use the aroma lamp, then the oil is, the molecular structure is breaking down because of the temperature, because the oil is heated up. So if you do want to preserve the therapeutic benefits, and that's what we are talking here about today, you would better use the cold diffusion. So you just put some water and put a few drops of essential oil, and you inhale it. And the last option is use it in the capsule. So it comes in a gelatin capsule and a veggie capsule. So you just put the a few drops of essential oil and dilute it with coconut or any other base oil, and you swallow it. Of course, it depends. Not all the essential oils can be taken internally.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was very interesting. So now we know how we can use the oils, but what type of oils, essential oils, would you recommend to use for gut health and for different gut issues?
Mm-hmm. Well, I just would like to say that gut health is such a fascinating subject, and now we're just learning how it all interconnected with our nervous system. I mean, that's like 80% of serotonin, which is our happiness hormone, is produced in the gut, and it's so important to keep our gut health. As I know, I'm sure that you're all aware with your Karina's followers. For instance, I'm going to talk about, just say a few words about the oils that you can use for a specific ailment. For instance, when we talk about the most prevalent, I guess that's the irritable bowel syndrome. The oil that has been studied mostly for those, for its anti-inflammatory and antispasmodic properties, it's peppermint essential oil. I mean, we know about the herb, right? And we know about using peppermint in a form like a tea, or they always, we know that it calms the stomach and things like this. It helps with digestion. So I would recommend using peppermint essential oil in a capsule. Yeah, so it's like an enteric protection. This one, and another oil that I would recommend for IBS is cumin essential oil, which has pretty much the same properties, but it just hasn't been researched as widely as peppermint. The next, I guess, issue is SIBO, so it's small intestine bacterial overgrowth. It's when the balance is tilted, right? And we have the colonic bacteria in the small intestine, which, I mean, shouldn't be there. Why essential oils are so great for this is the fact of, because of their quality of targeting the bad bacteria, but preserving the good bacteria. So what are the oils that have been researched for this ailment is the lavender, also thyme essential oil, and wild orange. I mean, wild orange has been also used in Chinese medicine for centuries. It's interesting because it helps with bile production, and it helps with digesting the fats. So all of those oils, how you could use them is you can either, for instance, use them in a capsule, as I've mentioned, or sometimes also you can use them in cooking. I guess the other ailment is the acid reflux. I guess this is also very like statistically we're seeing how many people are on antacids nowadays, and what I see is being like the research in that subject is the oils is again because of the fantastic quality of essential oil to target the pathogenic microbe and to retain the good bacteria intact. Those would be the oils to use. Again, also because of the antioxidant capacity of ginger and turmeric essential oils. They actually
Oh,
help. They're targeting the pathogenic bacteria, and they help protect the gut lining, and that's what we kind of need in during the acid, with this ailment. And how we can again use it is we can introduce it into our cooking. I mean, I'm sure we all use it already in one form or
yes.
another. Yes.
Yes, actually, that's very interesting. Thank you for bringing that up. How can you elaborate a little bit more on how different these oils are therapeutically from the spices that you were using in our kitchen on everyday basis? Are they, more bioavailable, potent, or yeah, just a few words about that.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. It's a great question. And actually, yes, to start with, I prefer using oils to spices because I am very confident in the quality. And I know that the company that I'm using, the Terra, they absolutely in the purest form that you could find. And spices, sometimes when I go to the shop, I have to look really because, as we know, they're all sprayed with, if it's not organic, they'll be sprayed with pesticides and things like this. But apart from spice form versus oil form, essential oil is a highly concentrated substance. It's 50 to 70 times more concentrated than the raw material, raw plant. So we need a lot less compared to the if we use it in a spice form. And lastly, exactly, Karina, exactly like you've mentioned, it's more bioavailable. For instance, we know that turmeric is only the absorption is really negligible unless we take turmeric with either black pepper or any type of phospholipid. And this is essential oil, so it's already phospholipid. It's potent, and it would get inside our cells quicker because the membranes of our cells are phospholipid as well, which is like fat soluble. So it's a lot more economic in a way as well because you don't need as much as you would do with a spice, and same with the ginger.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. And you mentioned that you're using the oils from doTERRA. Let me back up a little bit and ask you just a few words about that. So why did you choose doTERRA, and why not another company? What's the main difference between the oils from doTERRA and maybe some other brands in, for example, Whole Foods?
Sure, thank you for the question. I have used many brands before, but I love doTERRA for a few reasons. One being that this is the company that invests more than any other company on the market in research and development, and they're doing a lot of studies with they have a lot of contracts with the clinics and with the universities that they're kind of on the forefront of that wave because it's coming back now. We have a lot of scientific research, cases coming out with how essential oil impact this, that, or the other. And this is very interesting because, as we know, essential oils are 5,000 years old. This type of medicine compared to pharmaceuticals in the way that in the form that we know them, they're only 100 years old. So this is number one. Number two is the fact that uh, this is the most researched oils, so they have 7 different tests as opposed to only 2 tests which are prevalent on the market. They actually go far beyond, and they even test the stability, when the oil is already inside the bottle. And you could return the oil if you're not satisfied with the quality, because they want the consistency. They want to promise you that every other bottle that you're going to receive and open would have the same therapeutic qualities as the previous one. And the third, I guess, reason is the fact that they work directly with the farmer. They cut the middleman out, and that also allows for a more flexible model. They don't have any fields, and they don't own any fields, but they go to growers and they help them. They pay them 1 year for upfront, and the list is very strict, but the grower, the farmer, is interested to keep the quality on the highest level. So this is also very important, I guess, for me.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I love that. Thank you for sharing. I love that they are actually science oriented, and I've seen myself scientifically published articles in peer-reviewed journals with actually doTERRA oil. So that's why I'm also using some of the oils in my household, and that's why I really chose them. And another factor that I love, as a biologist myself, I know about how different plant species, when you take a particular for example lavender plant and grow it in different parts of the world, you will actually get a totally different looking plant and with different properties. So I do love that they are actually going to the countries where these plants have been researched and they're known for their therapeutic properties from that particular geographic area. So I think that is very important. So thank you. And just to wrap up a little bit, thank you so much for coming. And would you mind just telling us if there was just one particular oil for our digestive health, what doTERRA oil would you recommend to get to our listeners?
Actually, thank you so much for this question. It's such an interesting question, and that what I would want to elaborate anyway. We have a proprietary blend already specifically created for all sorts of digestive issues, and as the name states, it's called Digest Zen. And all of the oils that I have been described before, those are the components in this blend. So we have peppermint, ginger, we have caraway seeds. So it's really, I guess, for all those ailments, and to also, for instance, support your digestive health on a daily basis. That's what you can use in a glass of water, just a drop before or after the meal. So thank you, doTERRA. We already have it in one one bottle.
Thank you so much. And how so I definitely appreciate for your time and for you to come here. We will how can they purchase? Can we share the link?
Sure. Yes, please. If you have any questions or you would like to know more, we would share the link on Karina's page, and please, just I'm here to answer any questions that you might have that we didn't have time to answer during the
Thank
interview.
you so much. Yes, I encourage our listeners. So if you do have any questions, please comment below and we will return and try to answer them. And again, thank you so much, Julia, for coming. I really appreciate. I know it's a busy time of the day for you, so thank you so much. And I'm gonna announce for more gut health chats in the future. So please stay tuned. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.